Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip of someone talking about how they went to Europe and the clothes and chairs were too small. Apparently, Europe is not designed for plus-size bodies, according to this person, and it's very difficult to fit into certain infrastructure. We're also going to be taking a look at several random bonus clips, including one where someone says TikTok has become fatphobic, and another random bonus clip from Tess Holliday, so be sure to stick around until the end. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache. Alright, she's going to be responding to this comment that reads, "Can you talk about attitudes toward plus-size people in these locations? I've heard Europe isn't fat."
Hi, this is a great question. Thank you for asking me. So I went across Europe, specifically like 10 countries, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Malta, Greece, to name a few, this past summer. And then I lived abroad in Germany for a year, like 15 years ago when I was studying abroad in college. Europeans tend to be pretty fatphobic if they find out you're American.
So if you go there and you're living in a larger body and you're not American, they're perfectly chill? Okay.
A lot of times for my own safety, I would say I was Canadian, to be honest with you. Also the political...
I've heard that that's a good idea in general when you travel abroad. If someone's like, "Are you American?" You say, "No, I'm Canadian, eh? Sorry about that."
The situation here is complicated, and I would also just default to Canada. I personally did not face a ton of harassment. Sometimes people would just make offhanded comments or look at you or just kind of gander. Europeans, not all, but many of them are prone to staring.
Maybe they just cannot comprehend the American physique. You know what I mean? The European mind cannot understand this. Yeah, I've heard a lot of places over there aren't really used to seeing people living in a larger body, at least not beyond a certain point. So people might be prone to stare. This isn't the first time I've heard of this phenomenon.
The way we got stared at when we went to Italy was like diabolical. It was 3 of us and we were fat and they just were looking at us. But you'll see it more in access ways, like when I would go to restaurants, almost all the chairs, it was really bad in Portugal. All the chairs had arms and they did not fit me and would dig into my side, so...
Okay, so they had regular chairs with arms and that was an issue.
Infrastructure publicly is just like not designed around people who are larger.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? You go over there and you're like, wait a minute. All of this infrastructure seems to be designed for people that are way smaller. Nobody seems to have an issue with any of the chairs having arms at that location.
And also, like, not designed around people who are disabled as well. It's also nearly...
Well, I don't know why you would bring them into this.
...impossible to find any plus-size clothes in Europe. You will be hard-pressed to find anything above a US size, maybe like 18.
I can't imagine going to a different country and complaining that their infrastructure isn't large enough for me when nobody else needs larger infrastructure in this country. I would be like, well, nobody else seems to need this, but I do. That's interesting. What's up with that? That's where my head would be.
And I'm a pretty solid 24 US. And I don't think I purchased any clothes besides a couple of souvenir shops that had American shirt sizes where I was able to find some 2, 3, even 4X American sizes.
The only places that had those were touristy places because they knew Americans would go there. Wow. And their regular shops all around town, you cannot find those sizes. That's very interesting. What does that tell us?
But it was nothing trendy or from stores there, it was just souvenirs. I'm also a white person, and attitudes towards people who are fat, people of color, may be different. I will say I had the best time in Portugal. It was very diverse there, and I did not feel like ostracized in any way. Portugal was probably the most fat-friendly, except for the seating.
Portugal's fat-friendly, but they have small seats everywhere. Man, you guys are playing head games over there in Portugal. Stop playing with my emotions, Portugal.
I would say generally day to day, I did not face too many issues. People were, for the most part, friendly. And if I felt like I was going to face backlash because of my body size or because of political things, I would just say I'm Canadian.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, eh? Those damn Americans, I hate them too. I'm sorry.
Also, in countries with different immigrant populations, you'll tend to be treated better. I also went to Turkey this year, which some people argue is Europe or not. But the Turkish people were very kind and welcoming and were not weird. They loved plus size women there. And then
They really loved plus size women there because she gave the old, okay.
And in Germany, there were a lot of immigrants from different places like Turkey, and they were never hostile towards my body.
Okay, were other people hostile towards your body? That's an interesting way of phrasing you guys not having large enough chairs. Is that when people were hostile towards your body, when the chair wasn't big enough?
And Portugal was the most diverse, and thus I think, which is why I did not face too many issues in Portugal, and people were very kind.
What does that even mean?
But that's just my personal experience and may differ from person to person who has traveled to Europe. Also, I took a little bit of time to make sure I knew some words in the language when I was traveling to these places. I am learning Spanish, so I think also people just assume that you're stupid when you're fat. And so knowing a couple words in that language really helps you get farther, and people don't treat you as shitty. It's like my number one tip to like not face fat phobia or like shitty attitudes or like xenophobia against Americans abroad is like just learn like hello, goodbye, and thank you in their language. It's like not enough, but it is enough to like...
That's not what I do. I go over there and I'm like, where's the burgers? Where are all the goddamn cheeseburgers over here, you idiots? Learn English. Learn English and feed me a cheeseburger. That's what I say when I go anywhere. I put on my cowboy hat and I'm like, where are the goddamn cheeseburgers? Somebody bring me a cheeseburger and a very large chair immediately. An American has showed up. Let me in.
Tell people you're making an effort. I learned hello, goodbye, and thank you in probably like 6 languages this year. The only one I couldn't master was in Greek. Their way of saying thank you is very difficult. But I did learn in Turkish teşekkürler, and it got us very far.
Okay, so she went to various countries in Europe and then complained that the chairs were too small. And also there was a lack of plus-size clothes. You show up at a place, you're like, wow, nobody here is living in a larger body except for me. Everybody is staring at me. Why aren't there more plus-size accommodations? Next. Caption on the screen reads, fat people need to not exist until they are skinny. By the way, this is that person who said, I'm not going to hold your hand when I say this because your hands should be filled with books. And then she said skinny phobia is not real.
Nowadays, I really hate coming on TikTok. TikTok used to be a very fun place to come on, especially as a fat, black, femme baddie, because I can find people like me. We were body positive, for a few years, and it was nice and fun and a welcoming community. Now you get on here and everyone hates fat bitches.
Really? I haven't seen a whole lot of that. TikTok seems to be pretty on board with the whole fat liberation movement from the comment sections that I've seen.
When did this happen? When did y'all all just start hating fat people? Like, I know that fat phobia has always existed, but y'all are very bold about hating fat people now, and I really don't get all the hate. I'll say
I'm not sure which comment sections you're going to.
That y'all really don't care about fat people, but for some reason, we are always a topic of conversation. And then it's really unfair because we can't go to the gym and work out because then y'all make fun of us for being fat and working out.
What? I don't think that's happening. I've heard people say that before, like, you guys will make fun of me for working out in the gym, but that is not happening. If somebody was like, hey, fatty, why don't you go to the gym? And then you go to the gym, what are they going to say now? They're like, hey, fatty, that's right. This is exactly where I told you to go. Like, I don't understand. I have never seen somebody make fun of a larger person for working out, just like I've never seen somebody make fun of an alcoholic for going to an AA meeting.
We can't eat anything at any time, any place of any kind, because then if we do that, then, oh, you're fat, you're not supposed to eat. Like,
it sounds like you're worried about what everybody else is thinking about you, and you're using these worries as an excuse to not do anything. I would go to the gym, but you guys will make fun of me. I would eat this way or that way, but you guys are always making fun of people living in a larger body for eating. It sounds like you're making excuses to give up without even trying.
Human bodies don't need food for fuel. If we try to buy clothes and we complain about the lack of clothing in our sizes, you need to shut the up and lose weight. But then if we go to the gym, you make fun of us. But then if we try to eat healthy, oh, you're not going to eat that healthy food. You should.
Okay. These are a lot of scenarios that are existing in your own head only. I'm pretty sure nobody's trying to prevent you from eating healthy or working out, and then also simultaneously making fun of you for your weight.
And eat food at all. So it's like, what do y'all really want fat people to do? Like, do y'all want us to just like unalive ourselves and just not?
All right, let's settle down, please. This is the same person that said skinny phobia is not real, after she said, I would hold your hands when I say this, but your hands should be filled with books. Skinny phobia is not real. That was her. It didn't make sense the first time, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense this time. My hands should constantly be filled with books. Do I need to read the books? No, they should just be in my hands so it looks like I'm smart.
Exist, because that really seems like the only option at this point.
She said when larger people try to work out, skinny people stop them or make fun of them. They won't let you eat healthy. They'll make fun of you for that. XYZ. We had a million reasons for why we can't improve our lives, and they were all based in how other people perceive us. I recommend we stop being caught up on what other people think and just focus on improving ourselves. Who cares what Jeff thinks? Does Jeff really not want us to be at the gym? I don't know. I don't care what Jeff thinks. I'm going to the gym, okay? By the way, I don't think Jeff cares that I'm at the gym. He told me that I was fat and I should go to the gym. Now that I'm at the gym, he's going to be like, what are you doing? None of that makes any sense. Also, F Jeff, okay? I don't care what Jeff thinks. Other people's perceptions of you are irrelevant. The only person who has an opinion of you that matters is you. You were supposed to discover that a long time ago. I'm sorry I have to hold your hands. They should have been filled with books. Next.
In 2013, I started F Your Beauty Standards with one post. I was pushing back against a world that constantly told people like me and so many others that we were too much, not enough, or simply not meant to be seen.
They said you were too much and not enough at the same time? Man, you guys are confusing. Okay, so we started the F Your Beauty Standards hashtag or campaign or whatever. We're not saying F any other beauty standards such as makeup or Botox or various injections and procedures. The only beauty standard that we want to F is the weight one.
What happened next was bigger than I could have ever imagined.
I don't know. It wasn't really that big.
It became a global movement.
I don't think it did. A couple people bought some shirts. If the F Your Beauty Standards campaign were really that successful, would we have to go on and make really ridiculous claims later to get publicity?
Millions of people around the world started sharing their stories, challenging the rules, and questioning who those rules were built for in the first place.
Yeah, man, you really changed the world back there, Tess.
But over time, something became clear. This was never just about beauty standards. It was about the systems that decide who gets to belong.
What? I thought it was just a campaign to sell products, and then you sold a bunch of shirts and stuff, and then there were a bunch of products that you never came through on. Like a bunch of people bought whatever from her, and she never delivered it, so...
And who gets pushed to the margins? So... in 2026, we're expanding the vision. With Rainbow stepping in as co-founder and CEO, we're building something
Co-founder and CEO of what?
more inclusive, more intentional, and more powerful than we started. To everyone that's been part of this movement since the beginning.
Okay, so you're going to have another product line? That's what you're saying? You're going to sell some more shirts or something?
Thank you. And to everyone who is just finding us now, this isn't a comeback. It's a new chapter.
Okay, so she said she hired that other person as the new CEO or director or whatever the heck she said. CEO of what? I don't know. It sounds to me like we're bringing back the F Your Beauty Standards product line, because that was just about selling products, right? We're not just like encouraging people to be body positive and this, that, and the other thing. We're selling products. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, baby, right? She hired a new CEO of the company so she could spread a positive message, not to sell products, dummy. I think it's funny that she thought she changed the whole world by selling a couple of shirts and not delivering on some of them as well. I recall that scandal. Remember back in 2013 when I changed the world? By selling some t-shirts? You guys probably don't remember. You probably forgot about how the whole world was turned on its head that one time. I remember. I might be the only one who remembers. Next.
This is actually a video for all of my followers who are really into health and pursuing health, because there's this thing that's quite bad for health that we should address, really. Like, I get quite a lot of comments talking about my health and you know, fat people and health, and actually there's this thing that's like,
I covered this person recently. They were complaining that people were giving them encouraging words when they were rock climbing or whatever, as well as various other complaints about Lucy and Yak not having big enough sizes.
it's just really bad. Take a look at these celebrity pictures. I think there's Justin Bieber there, and Bad Bunny and Beyonce and Charlie XCX, and they're all smoking and drinking.
Okay, I'll probably cut out what he just showed, but he just showed a picture of various celebrities smoking and drinking.
And people need to know that's like, you know, because I know people love to tell me if I'm like eating something or not exercising, that's really rough for my health. So like we should probably tell everyone about smoking and drinking.
We probably should tell everybody about smoking and drinking and how it's bad for you. I don't think that anybody has ever heard that before. You're right. Nobody's ever told somebody that's smoking, hey, you know what? That's bad for you. You're right. What? What are you talking about? People talk about how smoking and drinking are bad for you all the time. And when you see somebody smoking, in the comments, you'll often see people being like, dude, what are you doing? That's bad for you. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's keep that same energy that we save for fat people and just tell everyone about all these healthy things they can be doing.
I think people do that. And I'm not encouraging people to go around and start telling everybody else how to be healthy or anything, by the way. Does your shirt say Beyonce, but it's in like Greek fraternity style letters? I guess those are just Greek letters, huh? They're not really specific to fraternities. They just use them. I'm sorry.
I think it's really important. Just want to add that I like obviously do not condone that we troll. Well, Beyonce's my main, like, you know, leave her alone.
Beyonce's your main, leave her alone. Well, yeah, I see you're wearing that shirt.
But otherwise, we really should be promoting healthy behaviours all the time.
Okay. Well, I don't agree with telling anybody that they should change their body or do XYZ with it, but I do think that people point out unhealthy behaviors in other ways as well.
Don't let up. Don't let up.
Okay, so he was complaining that people don't give other people a hard time for smoking and drinking, so why are you giving people a hard time for being overweight or eating unhealthy food? But like I said, I'm pretty sure people do give people a hard time for smoking and drinking. I'm not saying that people should make fun of you for being larger or tell you that you need to eat healthier or anything like that. I'm just saying that people do share that same energy when it comes to other unhealthy activities. I've seen it in the comments before, so we had a lot of interesting clips in today's video, but what do you think? Does Europe need to get bigger chairs and sell larger clothes? Are larger people made fun of in the gym? And what do you think about Tess Holliday reviving the F Your Beauty Standards campaign? Leave a comment below. Happy Thursday, everybody. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.